Welcome back to M Hood Discovered. Just about everything I own is in this room. Minus the big shelf, though. Tomorrow morning, the adventure begins. The journey starts. On my way to tiny home life on the lake. Yeah, you're right. I'm really looking forward to it. You don't know how much. Yeah, you're right. So, tiny homes generally are about 400 square feet or less. That's why they're called tiny homes. They're usually highly stylized or somewhat stylized. It's not just like a shed. It could be a shed, because usually you can just go buy a shed at Home Depot and turn it into a tiny home, but it's not like it's just going to be one room. Visualize a two-car garage, something like that, but also visualize that two-car garage being just a hair taller maybe with a loft. So you're not sleeping down in this space here, you're sleeping up here. But yeah, one of the fears is, do I have too much stuff? Am I going to fit? So this is what it's about. I gotta fit all my stuff into a tiny home that is maybe less than 400 square feet. But first, I gotta fit all my stuff into a 6x12 trailer. I could fit more stuff in here. I don't want more stuff though, but yeah, plenty of room left. Look at that. So I still got to get through the rest of the day, afternoon, and the night, and then we're gonna go. Good morning, welcome back. I know it's the middle of the video. I got here late yesterday, right as the sun was going down. It was a kerfuffle getting in. Yeah, it was a longer drive than I expected because of a scenic route decision by someone, but it was a good drive. It just was really long, and then I had to wait. Yeah, so I'm just waking up. Got the cup of tea. I walked down to the lake that I live on. Yeah, you're right. Let's go look at the house. So yeah, here it is. I tell you what, there's no power in here quite yet, and it's still a little dark. I gotta walk the dogs. Let's do that. And then I'll show you what's up. These dogs were amped last night when we got here. They were just super excited, and they're still super excited, but they're starting to calm down. I have spent time on this lake, fishing it, hanging out, but I've never lived on it. However, I have been to it numerous times. I'm going to be waking up to it every morning for quite some time. So this is kind of a routine thing to do, but this is the first time for the dogs to be with me. My dogs have never seen this lake before, so they're still super amped and will be for days, but our routine is not quite done. And then we got to turn around. Nope, I'm not going down there. That's good. Obviously, I'm walking on the dam, and this is where the water goes through the spillway when the level is high. And the routine is as such. If I want to know the level, maybe I could look it up somewhere, but I don't know if I can. I always just look over here. Now, I can look anywhere and see the big fish just jumped out there. I can look anywhere and tell you if this is low or what. But I like looking at this because if there's no water flowing into that, you see it has to come up over the edge and cascade in. If there's no water, then what's the point in going down there? If I had more battery life at the moment, maybe I would go down there, but as you can see, it's quite the trek. But that down there is one of my favorite places to hang out and fish, regardless of whatever I'm catching. I just love being down there. I don't like being down there when about 50 feral hogs show up, but I do love being down there. I see a cardinal down there. I'm coming to realize that it's going to be much later in the day before the sun brightens it up in here, and it's probably not going to brighten it up too much. Anyway, I am not waiting. We will show it to you with the lights that I have. First, let me explain why the power is not on yet. I was originally planning on moving here in late October after I get paid again. A couple weeks ago, I procured this. I gave money. My friend Ray, thank you very much for helping me get here. I wouldn't be here without you, and you know that. So Ray was like, yeah, we can do it at the end of October after you get paid again, because it took everything to get here. And then things changed and he couldn't do that. He could only do first week, early October, which means I'm coming here with like almost nothing. Of course, I've got a lot of food. Dogs have all the food they need. The cats do. Everything's good, but no power, no water. So I brought water. I have friends in the area. I can go get water. I've got a solar panel to charge up my power station. I'm all good for a few days. Yeah, you're right. So I got here, like I said, right around sunset. It was getting dark. I had to wait. So I unloaded all my stuff with my friends, and they had to go. Left me here by myself, waiting for my new landlord, who was busy. So it took about an hour. I don't fault her for that. Everybody's got their own life. She gets here. We meet. And she gives me the keys and I get in. So it was super dark and I was super tired. I'd been awake for a long time and I'd only had like 3 hours of sleep. And last night I got the best sleep that I've had in quite some time, in like 3-4 years. Absolutely quiet. It got down into the high 50s last night. I just cracked the window and honestly, I woke up at like 3 a.m. or something like that and had to shut it because it was just a little too chilly. And then I slept like a baby. Well, except for shitting myself. And my dogs are happy. Yeah, you're right. So let's take a look at this tiny home. It's almost like just turning around in a circle in this room shows you. You've seen it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Yeah, you're right. So it is less than 400 square feet. That's a sleeping loft. It has a bed already in it. Let's go up there. There's is the bed. This could be a summertime sleeping loft because it was too warm in there. Too warm in there for me to last night anyway. There was no way I was going to sleep in there. It was too warm. So I just slept on the floor. Yeah, but for the moment, this is storage for me. All of this up here. I've already got some of my bigger saltwater rods up here. The stairs are pretty cool. They have block and tackle. You can hoist them up. And here's the kitchen. Now, the kitchen is decent. Plenty of cabinetry up here. Down there behind the boxes. Underneath the sink. Look, a dishwasher. Electric stove. Microwave. Refrigerator. More cabinetry. And drawers and more cabinets. Pretty crazy. Double sink. Small air conditioner. A paper towel dispensary. What's going on? Maybe you're wondering what's up with all that. Maybe you're not. But there's something I know about this unit that you don't. And it rings true with a lot of tiny homes. That are especially tiny homes that are on lakes in Texas, where this is. A lot of times they were investment properties, and they were short-term rentals like Airbnb. And that's what this was set up for, but it's no longer that. I think things changed during COVID. This property no one's lived in for a bit. It's fairly clean, but there's leaves on the floor and cobwebs and stuff, so it's a little dusty, but everything's clean. The refrigerator's clean, the microwave, the stove, the oven, the bathroom. Yeah, it just needs a dusting. Once I get everything put up. Yeah, let's look at the bathroom real quick. When all else fails, take a bath. There's a lot of signs like that in here. Look at this. You see all this paneling? Do you know what's up with that? And there's a mirror right there. There's the toilet. A bathtub and a shower in a tiny home. Wow, so much space wasted here. It'd be cool if it was a smaller bathroom. Isn't this highly stylized? It has to be, right? To be inviting to people who want to come out here for a couple days. So it has a closet. Enough space in there for storage. I've already got stuff in there. It has this shelving unit here. Excuse me. With a cabinet down there. I've got my reel-to-reel there for the moment. And as you can see, I'm just crammed in here with my stuff. Yeah, did you notice these hewn beams here? And do you know what this paneling is? Cedar. It smells wonderful in here. Everything is cedar. Most of the wood is cedar. A lot of the paneling, the hewn beams. I mean, it just reeks of cedar. Sorry to use that word reek. It doesn't stink. I mean, some people might not like the smell of cedar, but cedar is really good. It keeps a lot of bugs away. Not all of them, but yeah, some. And it just smells wonderful. You walk in here and it already smells clean, even though it's not the cleanest yet. And there's things that need to be taken care of. But fitting into here is not going to be easy. It may seem like I'm in here with all my stuff, but I'm not. I've got a few things out there that I don't think people are going to steal right away, because, you know, property theft is something you always need to think about. I'm not saying that there's a lot of it here or there's none of it here. I'm just saying it's something you should think about, and I think about it. So this is less than 400 square feet, right? Most tiny homes are going to be 400 square feet or less. And this is just a little less, but it's got plenty of space-saving storage and other ideas, especially the lofts, the two lofts. So, but this is just my workspace, and I've got a lot of stuff for work. How to make it all fit. Can't put the bike outside. I can't keep it outside. for long term. Do not want to lose that. I've got too many fishing rods over there in the corner, and some of them are saltwater, and some are rods I'm not going to use often here. I've got all those storage containers full of stuff. I've got all these plastic drawers full of tackle. I've got several work tables. I'm not going to get them all in here. I'll probably set up one. When I was at my house and we were loading that 6x12 trailer, my friends were like, wow, there's still room left. You didn't have that much stuff. Yeah, that may seem like not a lot of stuff. What I just showed you, what you saw in the trailer, I mean, most of it fit in a room when it was packed up. But that's when it's packed up. You always think when you slim things down that, oh, I have less stuff now, because it's a good feeling when you have less stuff. Some people, they just want more and more and more. Some of us, we want less and less and less. And whenever we get something new, we're like, oh, last thing I need, more stuff. So I thought, wow, I don't have that much stuff. And then I get here and I realize, wow, I do have that much stuff. So I got to make sense of all this. And it has to be a smooth machine, a working machine, right? It has to all work, because I'm here to work, right? I came here for other reasons as well, but mainly I work, and I have to work. This is what I do. I talk to you. I hold this little camera and I talk to you. I go and I catch fish. I do other things. On this channel, it's mostly life experience and other things. But yeah, this is a big deal when you move into a tiny home. You can prepare and prepare before you get there, but once you get there, you realize, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It can almost be a nightmare. It's so daunting, right? Oh, but yeah. I've got stuff to do. And in another video, we will do more about fitting in here, because a lot of people are considering moving into tiny homes. Let me switch. Because they're affordable, they're efficient, energy efficient. The only drawback is they're tiny, right? But they're popular. This is the second state where they're the most popular. The state where tiny homes are the most popular, that's California, and Texas ranks second. There's a lot of these. So before COVID, people were building these or taking small barns that they were buying from somewhere and converting them into something like this and putting them on around lakes and other places in the country to Airbnb them. You'll come down these lake roads and see areas where there's a whole bunch of these things together. Some people call them cabins here, but here they call them cabins and tiny homes. So they would get a whole bunch on a property and Airbnb them. It was like a village, right? We do have tiny home villages here in Texas, but it would be one person running an Airbnb thing out of a bunch of these tiny cabins, these tiny homes. And then COVID hit and their business tanked. Some of them sold. Some of them just converted to long-term renting, like this situation. So that's what's up. If you look, you can find a tiny home in a really good location on a lake here in Texas and in other states as well. Yeah, you're right. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next video, the next project. I'm acclimating. So, yeah, you're right. Forgive me for ranting here. Thank you for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, being a member of the channel. And yeah, you're right. Tiny home life on the lake. I'll see y'all next time.